Do you ever look at other online teachers and think to yourself, what is wrong with them? Like, how is it possible that they're able to manage teaching their online classes, being a stay at home parent, doing their hair and makeup every day, and showing up on Instagram stories like it's nothing, and all while creating multiple streams of income and growing their online teaching business? How do they do that? Right? I used to be one of those people who judged others, who thought they're not real. This person is not a normal human. But I have grown to learn over the past year and a half that it's so doable. It actually is possible for you to do all of the things. You just have to have the right systems and processes in place. And they're going to, in turn, allow you to be more efficient in your business, but also to see more success. So let's stop wasting time because we're talking about productivity, and let's jump into my top tips for being more productive as an online teacher, how to create effective habits, and better manage your time. If you're new here, my name is Laney Goff. I am an online teacher and business coach. I help other online teachers create successful online businesses. I'm here to give you all of my strategies on marketing, creating multiple streams of income, and living a life of freedom while you work from home. So if you're watching on YouTube and you've seen any of my past videos, you're probably thinking that this video is looking and feeling a little bit different than my videos in the past, which is very true. And to be honest with you, I hope you feel this transition of me providing content. There's a couple of reasons why I'm changing the whole vibe of my YouTube channel. Number one, because I'm now going to be offering the content that I share on YouTube. I'm going to be providing that in a podcast as well. That's right. I'm creating a brand new podcast called The Dynamic Teacher. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I don't know, whatever else, what other platforms there are. There are so many. So this podcast is going to be basically just the audio version of what you're seeing here on YouTube. It just gives you one extra way to learn and listen and grow on the go. Does that make sense? You're going to grow on the go. That's what's happening. Another reason why you'll see things changing for this episode and any future videos is because I have been lacking drive when it comes to YouTube. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that I don't feel connected. It doesn't give me motivation to do it because obviously, if you know anything about me and if you've taken anything from me, you know that I am big on motivation and how much emotion is attached to it. When I am not in my rawest form, I don't have the motivation to do something. In order for me to be in my raw everyday form, I felt like, what's the best way I can do that? Is it going to be me just spitting out tips and facts at you, or is it going to be me sitting down and having a conversation with you like you're right here with me in person? So that's exactly what I've decided to do. The whole vibe is going to change, and you're going to start seeing more and more of me just like this. And we're going to learn, we're going to grow, and we're going to build these epic online businesses as teachers. And I'm going to show you exactly how I've been able to do it for myself. So as a business coach for online teachers, I have done a lot of market research and heard from hundreds of online teachers about so many things: what your biggest struggle is, what your end goal is, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? What does success mean to you? I mean, there's so many things that I have gotten a lot of insight on. One of the things that I've gotten so much clarity on is what your biggest struggle is as an online teacher. What I hear most is time management, which is totally understandable, right? It's hard enough to go to a job every day and to feel motivated and to complete all of your work in that day, depending on what your job is. But when you work from home, and a lot of you as online teachers are stay-at-home moms, or stay-at-home parents, in case there are any dads here. You also may be a brick and mortar teacher, right? So you may work during the day, and then this is your side hustle, online teaching at night, or maybe you're creating an online business as a teacher that you're working on as a side hustle. So your time is limited. There's a lot of things that's going on that's preventing you from feeling like you're able to dedicate the right amount of time to your online teaching or to your online business. And I get that. I was there. A year and a half ago, I was in the trenches of it. It was COVID. Not only was I already a stay-at-home mom, but I really was a stay-at-home mom now because my kids couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. And I was stuck inside with them 24/7. And it all occurred right in the midst of me building this successful coaching business. And I knew it was going to be something big. And I knew that I just needed to dedicate the time to it. But how do you do that when you're a stay-at-home mom? A full-time stay-at-home mom, and you have zero relief, right? The only relief you get is at 6 p.m. whenever your partner comes home and you shove your kids in their face and you are so exhausted that you just go to bed. So, like I said, I totally understand feeling like there's not enough time. And I wish back then that I knew the things that I know now, because it would have helped me tremendously. And hopefully by me sharing some of these tips with you, it's going to help you as well. So let's jump into my first tip for increasing your productivity as an online teacher or with your online teaching business in general. That is going to be number one, to clarify your purpose. And you're probably thinking, what does that even mean? So when I say clarify your purpose, I mean that having clarity in your business is what's going to help you move the needle. You're always able to look at a goal or a task and ask yourself, does completing this task, fall in alignment with what my purpose is with my online teaching? If you're not crystal clear on your purpose and your goals, then your chances of getting what you want are less likely to happen. That's just brain science. I'm a big fan. You may already know. Jim Quick is an author of a book called Limitless. It is such an interesting read and gives you so much insight into the human mind and how our brains work. And I've learned so much from this book. And one of those things is understanding that if you are not very clear on something, your brain has so much trouble actually achieving a goal because you don't have clarity. Your brain needs that clarity. So what does having clarity on your purpose do for you? Well, number one, it allows you to make better decisions about what you need to execute, what you need to prioritize, what should be done and what should not be done. What can you eliminate? What can you delegate? There are so many things that having clarity on your purpose is going to allow you to accomplish, that it's necessary for you to be able to move forward in your business and for you to actually be productive on a day-to-day basis. Now, there are some questions that you can answer that I'm going to give to you that will really help you gain clarity on what your purpose is with your online teaching or with your online teaching business. You can actually find a copy of these questions for you to answer in the description box if you're watching on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast. The first question that I want you to ask yourself is, why did you start teaching online, or why did you start your online teaching business? There is got to be a reason why you decided to do this. Maybe you left the brick and mortar classroom and decided that you no longer wanted to work for someone else. You wanted to work for yourself. You wanted the freedom to be able to decide when you were going to work, how long you were going to work, how much you were going to get paid. Maybe you wanted the opportunity to be at home with your kids. So you wanted to stop working in a brick and mortar classroom and you wanted to transition to being a work from home mom, so you didn't miss out on any time with your family. There are so many reasons why you could have chosen to become an online teacher or create an online business as a teacher. It could be your love for being able to help children in a certain age range on a certain topic. Maybe you wanted to delve deeper into lesson planning and curriculum development. So think really hard about what it is for you that made you want to start teaching online or creating an online teaching business of some sort. The second question is, what do you love about what you do? Right? There's probably a long list of things that you love about what you do. For example, for me, I could think of, if I'm talking specifically about teaching online, I love seeing those sweet little faces every single day. They bring me so much joy, right? Their curiosity, and they're always so happy and upbeat. And I feel like it affects my mood tremendously. That's one of the reasons why I love it. I also love it because I love showing kids that learning is fun. That's huge for me. I want my kids, my children, to know that learning is fun. And I try to incorporate that every day with them. So to be able to continue that with other children all around the world, that's huge for me. So what is it for you that you love about online teaching or about your online teaching business? So for me, I could talk about teaching online without school, or I could also take a look at it from my coaching perspective, where I help other online teachers create businesses. And what do I love about that? I love being able to show online teachers or teachers in general what they're capable of, that the options are limitless, that you are in charge of your life and you can dictate everything that you want it to be. You just have to stand up and get moving. So for me, that's why I love what I do. The third question, what do you stand for? This is going to be your morals, your values, what's important to you, your core values. Number 4, I want you to answer for yourself, what problem do you solve, right? So how is it that you help others? What are you contributing? What are you serving others with? What kind of knowledge, what kind of help that's allowing someone else to improve? What are you doing to accomplish that? And then the last question is, how do I want people to feel when they come into contact with me? This is big. This is probably one of the most important questions out of the 5 that I'm giving you. And I want you to think really long and hard about this. For me, I would say that I want people to feel like I am there to serve them. Now, I don't mean that as in, I'm going to get down on my knees and shine your shoes. What I'm saying is that I want people to know that I'm coming from a place of love and that I'm here to do God's work. For me, that's important. And I am a servant to others by providing them with kindness and love and any help and support that I can. So think hard about what it is that you want people to feel when you come into contact with them. Now, once you've answered these questions, I want you to make sure that you take a copy of it, whether you print it out or you write them down. And I want you to have that in your workspace every single day, because you're going to come back to this. Anytime that you come across a task or something that you need to make a decision on, I want you to always reference back to this list of questions and what your answers are, because it's going to allow you to make better decisions and to eliminate things that don't need to be done or to delegate them to other people. Is it serving your purpose of what you want out of your online teaching or out of your online business? That's what's important. That's what's going to allow you to stay streamlined and do what needs to be done and what's productive in your business. Okay, let's jump into the second tip that I have for productivity as an online teacher. This is a good one, and probably one that a lot of us have an issue with. You need to eliminate distractions by having a clean and minimalist workspace. Now, I am by no means a minimalist, but I do 1000% agree that a minimalist environment helps to improve your focus. 100% it helps to improve your focus, and it allows you to get rid of that visual noise, right? Have you ever heard of that term, visual noise? What that means is it refers to how much stimulation your eyes take in all at once. I think about this. So my daughter is in kindergarten and I volunteer in her classroom every Thursday. I go in for an hour and we do some sort of center. But the first time that I walked into her classroom, I looked at her teacher's desk and I was like, how do you get anything done? I mean, a kindergarten classroom in general is usually pretty chaotic. There's a lot of different elements, right? But her desk itself was surrounded by so much. It was overwhelming to me. It was so overwhelming. And I just kept thinking, there's so much distraction here. It's so much distraction. It's visual noise, right? It's like having an endless amount of objects screaming at you to do something with them rather than to complete the task at hand. So for me, I found that having a very minimalistic workspace and a clean workspace is the best option. So you don't feel distracted and it's going to take away from the tasks that you need to do. I'm going to give you an example of this. Recently, within the past few months, I started renting this office space. So what you see right now on YouTube, this is a office space that I am renting every month. And you're probably thinking, why would you do that? You could just work from home for free. You're exactly right. I could. But for me, it was worth it to invest in this because I'm able to get away from all the visual noise at my house. I'm able to get away from my washing machine that's literally right outside the door of my office at home, and knowing that there's laundry in there that probably needs to be taken care of. Maybe my laundry, has gone down a little bit, and I have definitely slacked on that now that I've moved in this office. But for me, it's worth it because I'm getting more done in my business. So when I come here, there's not that same kind of distraction, right? It's the same premise. Your workspace needs to be somewhere that is distraction free, and it needs to be minimalist. It's easy to want to decorate it and it to be really cute and have all these frilly things. You never know how many staplers you need or paper clips. You don't need any staplers or paper clips. I'm just letting you know. But it's easy to think, oh, I just want it to be cute. It's going to be gold. It's going to match my vibe. No, don't do it. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. It's going to take away from your focus. Just have the essentials. Really and truly, I have this one shelf behind me that's got some decorations on it. That's about it. That's truly it. There's nothing else on my desk except for my keyboard and my mouse and my mic and my soundbar, and it's my computer, and that is that, because I don't want to give myself any distractions that are going to take away from the tasks that I need to complete to be more productive in my business. So if you have not already done so, I highly suggest you start to declutter and denoise your workspace. The other part of this tip, it goes for digital workspace as well. If you've got, like for me, if you've got a laptop or your desktop computer or whatever, if you're like me, every so often I have to do a large clean out of my desktop because it ends up being just like all these files on my desktop, and it's a nightmare, and I can't find anything and nothing's labeled. And so I had to come up with a system that allowed me to have a much cleaner looking minimalist desktop space. And now everything's organized in folders that are in folders that are in subfolders and in this folder. I mean, it's very organized and clean, and it's simple. I think that's what's big. So make sure that you declutter and denoise any digital workspace that you have as well. Sometimes it takes a while, but it's worth it, I promise, so that you don't feel overwhelmed and get distracted by all of these files and unnamed documents that you have on your desktop. Okay, moving on to the third productivity tip for online teachers, and probably my most favorite tip, and something that has made a huge difference in my business altogether, is to create workflows that help you automate the daily grind, like your day-to-day tasks that you have to do that are repeatable and that you can easily automate so that it's not taking up so much time for you to do them every day. So maybe you're asking yourself, what is a workflow? A workflow is how you get work done. It's the sequence of tasks from start to finish that you're able to put in place, and it's usually a repeatable pattern of activity. This is what I mean by that. So as an online teacher without school, you get a lot of parent messages, right? And they can range from so many things. It could be someone asking to transfer from one class to another. You could get questions about receiving a printable resource that you're providing for your student. You could get questions about how do you get a refund, or I don't know. There's so many things. Over the past 2 years without school, I've gotten a ton of questions. I have automated all of my responses for when I get parent messages. This allows me to cut out so much time when I'm responding to new messages that come in. So what I do is I create a Google Doc for any type of workflow. So for example, for that workflow, it's going to be my parent response messages workflow. And in there, I have a full list of questions that I have received over the past 2 years and what my responses were. So then I'm able to just copy the response that I sent before and paste it into the new message from the new parent. And if there are any names that I need to change, I can do that right there, or times or dates, whatever. I can change it right in there. It's very quick. But the entire message is already there. I don't have to think about it. I get to conserve my energy for other important things in my business. And it just is so fast and simple that I can just find it and put it right into OutSchool's messaging system. And there's a few reasons why workflows are so important. Number one, they help to minimize room for error, right? Workflows ensure that all of your important tasks are done the right way every single time. So you're not worrying about, grammar mistakes or misspelling something. If you've already got it typed out and you know it's perfect, and you copy and you paste it in, You don't have to worry about any of that. So it really minimizes that room for error for you. And then the second thing of why it's important is that it increases your overall efficiency. It eliminates all the busy work, right? That causes distraction from completing a task. And it helps to keep you moving forward in your business. Workflows are essential and something that I wish I would have put into place in my business from the very beginning. I have workflows for everything. I have workflows for how I create this YouTube video, or any YouTube video for that matter, what order of events I'm going to do, how I edit it, how I am going to create my thumbnail, how I'm going to post the podcast. There are so many workflows that I have, but it also, what it does for you is it's allowing you to be able to delegate tasks to others more easily. And you may be thinking, why I don't have anything that I need to delegate to anybody. You don't now, but in the future, you might need to. What if you get to a point where you're able to hire a virtual assistant? If you have if you have workflows already in place, then your virtual assistant is going to come in and have everything spelled out. You're not going to have to take time training them on anything because you've already done the work. You've already put in the work. Or what if you decide, if you're an OutSchool teacher, that you want to become an organization? If that's you, then if you're creating workflows already, it's an easy transition to be able to hire new teachers and to train them on what your procedures are. Okay, moving on to my fourth tip for productivity for online teachers. This is also another big one that you may have heard me talk about before on Instagram, and that is to conserve your energy. And you're probably thinking, well, how can I do that if I'm having to do all these tasks, Laney? That doesn't make any sense. You're right. But this is what I mean by that. How do you conserve your energy? You create routines. And I don't mean routines in your business. I mean routines in your personal life. And typically that starts with a nighttime routine. For me, it always does. Now, for example, let me explain to you what my nighttime routine looks like and how that sets me up for a really productive morning every morning. So first, every night before I go to bed, after the kids have eaten and taken a bath and all of that, I am doing a number of things every night that eliminate me having to do them the next morning. Because if I do them the next morning, then I am wasting my energy on those things when I could be using that energy to focus on something important in my business. So I will do things like laying out all their clothes, having breakfast essentials pulled out so I can easily make breakfast in the morning, packing lunches the night before, making sure their book bags are ready to go and already in the car. There are so many things that I do to set myself up so that when I wake up in the morning, my outfit is picked out. I already know what shoes I'm wearing. I don't have to waste energy and time deciding what that's going to look like because I do it the night before. No matter how hard it is, no matter how tired I am and how much I just want to jump into my bed, I do it. And it makes such a difference in conserving my energy so that every morning I have so much energy to put towards my business. So if you don't already have routines in place, you need to jump on this and get some going. And it could be something very easy. Like I said, it could be picking out your clothes the night before. Just eliminating that one decision that you have to make every morning, it allows you to conserve a lot of energy that doesn't need to be wasted on such a small part of your day, right? So my evening routines or nighttime routines have such a huge effect on my productivity the next day. And the last and final productivity tip that I have for online teachers is to commit to a smaller number of goals. Yes, I said it, commit to a smaller number of goals. Generally speaking, as a teacher, most of the time, you're so used to multitasking and allowing your creative brain to dictate your day-to-day accomplishments. I mean, think about it. How many times have you started a task or a to-do list in your online teaching business and 30 minutes later found yourself knee-deep in an article about how to crochet fingerless gloves? I know it's been countless times for me. I mean, I can't be the only one. Squirrel brain, right? My girl, Danny J, another online teacher and friend, she talks about it all the time. Squirrel brain, it happens. And most teachers have very creative mindsets, right? That's how your brain works. You have more of a creative brain. And so for you, you get more joy and excitement out of starting something new than completing a task that you've already started. I get that 1000%. When you have a serious love and need for creativity, it feels better to come up with new and exciting ventures than to finish boring tasks of a project that you've already started. I get that all day long. So ideally, you really want to stick to 3 to 4 goals at a time, and you want to accomplish them before you move on. That's right. You want to do it beginning to end before you move on. This is something that I have so much trouble with, and it's probably one of the biggest things that I consistently work on is making sure that I'm completing an entire project before I start a new one, because there are so many times that I think of ways that I can monetize something, or something that's going to allow me to have more creative freedom, or, to be able to serve others in a bigger capacity. And then I have these giant dreams that I'm trying to chase after, when in reality, I haven't even finished, posting a podcast. So this is why it's so important, because you can't actually be productive if you're not completing an entire task, right? It's discipline. It's truly that. It's truly discipline and creating effective habits every day in your work life that allow you to be more disciplined, that allow you to complete these big goals, to reach for those big dreams, and to actually do the things that you want to do. And in order to live a life of freedom, in order to have an online business, in order to work from home, you have to be extremely disciplined. Bottom line. So there you have it. Now you've got my top 5 productivity tips for online teachers, how to better manage your time and create effective habits. I hope that you find these so helpful and that you start to implement them every single day in your online business. Thank you so much for being a part of today's episode, and I will see you guys next time.